I'm Judy Shaw for NYSE Floor Talk, and I'm here at the Ford Center at the Star in Frisco, Texas. Joining me today is Jerry Jones, owner of the Dallas Cowboys and majority stockholder of Comstock Resources. And I also have Jay Allison, chairman and CEO of Comstock Resources. Jerry, Jay, amazing to be here with you both. Thank you for the invitation to bring Floor Talk here to you in Texas.
No, well, thank you, because you're the linchpin that allowed this to happen. So when Jerry mentioned it in September, you grabbed it, and look, great things happened. We've had a great day.
Team effort, and we are all so happy to be here. So thank you again for that invitation.
Wait a minute. I hear the crowd. Behind us, there's 22,000. Oh, he's going, he's got it. He's in the end zone.
All right, touchdown.
Cowboys.
Wow, so NFL draft, it's days away, and we know how that can be a game changer for NFL teams. So Jay, talk to me about Haynesville. How is that a game changer for Comstock and the E&P industry?
You know, we looked at the Haynesville back in 2008, and we developed it between 2008 and 2011. And then we came back to it in 2015, and then we kind of doubled down in 2018. And then we kind of deviated 100 miles away, and we said we think that we can extend the play and have a new part of this play that's completely undrilled. And it's kind of like the draft. I mean, we drill 1 well, 2 wells, 3 wells, 4 wells. So since the last time we saw you, we've had 2 wells that have produced as better than we thought. We've had another 2 wells that have been completed. We've drilled 2 wells. We've got an affirmation of our borrowing base again for $2 billion. So the Haynesville has driven all this great success. You know, our bonds, we don't owe any bonds till 2029, 2030, and we've got liquidity of $1.5 billion. All those numerical numbers, they're driven only because of the success of the Haynesville, which we think we have the single largest footprint, closest to where you're going to have this 95% of LNG takeaway, which is 200 miles from the Gulf Coast of Louisiana and Texas. Again, all driven by the Haynesville, all of it.
Okay. All right. So, Jerry, the long-term LNG prospects of the Haynesville area attracted you to invest in Comstock 5 years ago. Has it met your expectations, or has it exceeded them?
Well, it's exceeded them. I've got a little bit of a history of looking longer term. We can operate efficiently, but it's a long-term thing. It was that way with the Cowboys. The Cowboys were by no means a short-term. As a matter of fact, the gravity was pushing against sports. The gravity was pushing against the Dallas Cowboys. I bought them from the FDIC. They'd been foreclosed on, 15% of them, the rest going. So how does that talk about the Haynesville? Well, the Haynesville and gas has headwinds. That's where you get your strength. That's the way it is in sports, push back against it. But it's fundamentally special because it has all, just like the draft, it has some things that only God can put there. We think it's the greatest gas supply there is for what we need in America. Gas is the most important thing in my mind for being able to sustain the kind of life that we have in America.
All right. So you mentioned your long-term investment perspective. Tell me how it's benefiting Comstock and its business plan.
Well, I think that there's no worry about paying the bills. And the thing is that we can be aggressive when we should be. I look at Comstock as writing secretariat. That's why I put over $1 billion of my own money into Comstock. Riding secretariat in a horse race with the conditions and the atmosphere, politically or otherwise, holding the other horses back, much less letting them run with secretariat. And so I have that kind of optimism for the future of Comstock and natural gas.
Okay. All right, so Jay, natural gas prices are currently low. How is this impacting your strategy, and how are you positioned to manage through the low prices?
You know, we always planned for it to be a cyclical commodity. So in 2022, we paid down almost $600 million of debt. We continued to de-risk our Haynesville. And in fact, a lot of these companies have degradation, and our wells performance have been 20% better year over year. And a lot of these companies are chasing inventory, so they have to do big M&A acquisitions. We're actually completely different from that. All we're doing is we have 1,600 locations. We drill about 80 wells a year. We turn to sales probably 55 wells a year. So we have 2 decades worth of drilling. And with the Western Haynesville, we're trying to add to that. We're trying to de-risk the Western Haynesville. That is this exploration, which really no other company in North America is trying to do. That's the difference. So if you are the low-cost producer, which we are, our finding costs are about 95 cents. Our other costs are maybe $1 and a nickel. So you add all that up, $2. Even today, gas is $2.20, $2.10, $2.30. So we make money. A lot of these companies don't make money. And to Jerry's point, if you look at where our footprint is, we're the single closest, largest gas field to where the LNG shippers are. And the shippers are spending $100 billion adding new LNG export facilities just in our area. So at the low cost, great liquidity, great upside, and we don't have to do a big M&A deal.
All right, so the war in Ukraine, we know that it's having an impact on the gas supply in Europe. What role could Comstock play in Haynesville, or actually Comstock and Haynesville play in this?
We provide gas to all the LNG exporters along the Texas-Louisiana Gulf Coast. We provided gas to South Korea. We provided gas to Japan. We provided gas to Germany. We provided gas to Poland. So if you look at those economies, it's the countries that have the energy, the wealthiest countries. They're the ones that are going to prosper the most. So if you look at security, why is America secure? Because we're literally energy independent. And why is that? That's because of the shale, which happened in 2005. So within 18 years, we've developed the shale, both oil and gas, and we've created energy independence. Well, if you're the EU or you're Germany and you used to get 15% of your gas, 50% of your gas from Russia, 15 BCF of gas went from Russia to the EU and to the UK. So now you need that gas. So I think what we're going to do, and where these dollars are invested, this $100 billion of takeaway, we have the resources at the lowest cost to provide for this long haul, to provide for the shippers to go where? To go where it's needed, because it is a security issue, it's a humanitarian issue, and we have those clean molecules. If you look at Europe, they say this is green, natural gas is green. So we're not trying to do anything that they don't want or don't need. And that's going to take a couple of years. You ask about the commodity price. It's going to be soft. We think it'll be volatile for a couple of years. But like Jerry said, we've got the balance sheet and we've got the forward thinking in order to handle that. Because remember, all we're trying to do is to de-risk this Western Haynesville area.
The real obvious reasonableness is that the push that you would have against hydrocarbons is helping create this value, and it's diminished investment in the future productivity of natural gas. And natural gas, when in fact, is the most significant answer to our climate. And so when you want to get in something, like when I got in the Cowboys, or like when we came to North Texas and we're out here where we have the Star, when you want to get in something is when it's pushing back against you, and those things are identifiable. Now, only the man upstairs really knows what the market's going to be in years to come. But this is an excellent time to be acquiring natural gas reserves.
When we discuss this, we say you can only get these reserves that people need. You're not going to really get it from Australia because they're primarily tapped out. There's no really great new resources. So you're going to get it from the two elephants. And the two elephants are Qatar, which is a country, and or North America, really where we are. So those are the only two places that you can get these molecules. And if you look at what is being built and what will be built, the United States will need another probably 25 billion cubic feet of gas between now and 2030. So the question is, where are you going to get it? And we think that we can provide a lot of that, and we think at a low cost, and it'll be dependable, reliable, predictable, and it provides security. We want to help the world be a better place, period.
All right, well, let's switch gears. NFL draft coming up in a few days. Jerry, talk to me about the process preparing for the draft. Is it a year-long journey?
We spend about $250,000 a player on our research to draft that player when we draft them. We draft 7 players, and we get about 15 players from college free agency. So we mean business. Now, when you look at those players, there's a lot of unanswered questions. You can see their stats, you can see their performance, but then you have to depend on something you can't feel or touch. That really is character, or that really is their desire to succeed. There's big boys, little boys, fast boys, slower boys, skinny boys, fat boys. A lot of people play football, but what's inside is hard to identify. That's the trick in the draft. It reminds me of some of the conversation that we've been having about business in general. As a matter of fact, oil and gas prepared me to draft, because in oil and gas you can pick up one phone and they tell you some news that's not particularly happy. While you're on the other phone, your voice can't break and you're put together a new place to go. That's a lot like the draft and a lot like putting a team together in the NFL.
I love that. Okay, so now your draft pick number 26. So when you're going into this, do you go with a specific need, or are you looking for the best available player?
Yes, we have our players evaluated, and we have them in a pecking order. There'll be 300 players drafted, and we have those in a pecking order. Early in the draft, when you have the best players and the best picks, they're very commonly evaluated the same by all teams. And there, of course, is an adjustment for a need. But when you go in there and look at them, it's like going in a journalism class and trying to find the next Pulitzer Prize winner by picking him out in the class, or going in the next finance class in school and trying to find the next Warren Buffett. Only really God knows who's sitting there and what's inside there. So that's very akin to the ones that work the hardest, do your best job researching, then you've got the best chance to pick the player that's going to be surprised. I dare say one of the best players ever to come out of the draft is a guy named Micah Parsons that we drafted 2 years ago. Micah Parsons was nowhere near our radar when we started the draft, but yet he was there, and we had enough information and evaluated it, and so we were able to overlook some of his shortcomings, which they all have, and we were able to zero in on the positives, and you make a decision. Oil and gas very much like that.
All right, well, this has been incredible. Wonderful to talk with you both. Thank you so much. It's amazing to be here. Thanks for joining me on Floor Talk.
You're a star at the Star.
Love it.
That is our name that we have here. But all we're lacking at this moment is the 22,000 fans out here cheering us on.
Okay, well, next time.
Okay, that's me sitting right out there.
Here we go.
Okay. I say next time we're out there.
Okay, let's do it.
Thanks again.
Thank you.